Welcome back to your favorite English learning channel.
English Podcast Adventures.
Okay, so I have to tell you what happened to me yesterday. I was at the grocery store, and this woman in front of me was talking to the cashier, and she was just flowing. Like, her words were just melting together in this beautiful way. And I'm standing there thinking, how does she make English sound so smooth?
Oh, I know exactly what you mean. It's like they're speaking music, right? Everything just glides from one word to the next. Meanwhile, when I was learning English, I sounded like a robot reading a manual. I would like to buy some milk, please.
Yes, exactly. That's the thing, though. Native speakers don't actually speak word by word like we were taught in school. They do all these sneaky little things that make their speech sound natural. And today, we're going to figure out what those tricks are.
And the best part? Once you know these secrets, you can start using them too. It's not magic, it's just patterns that you can learn. So if you're listening to this and thinking, I want to sound more natural when I speak English, you're in the right place.
Absolutely. And hey, welcome back to English Podcast Adventures. I'm here with my co-host, and we're just two people who love helping you feel more confident with your English. Today, we're talking about why native speakers sound so smooth and how you can start sounding smooth too.
So let's start with the biggest secret, and this one's going to blow your mind. Native speakers don't actually pronounce every single word clearly. I know, your English teacher probably told you to pronounce everything perfectly, but that's not how real English works.
Right, we do something called connected speech. It's when words sort of blend together. Like, instead of saying, "What are you doing?" with each word separate, we say, "What are you doing?" The words connect and flow into each other.
Let me give you a perfect example. Yesterday, I asked my friend, "Did you eat lunch?" But what actually came out of my mouth was, "Did you eat lunch?" The "did you" became "did ya." It's not lazy speaking, it's just natural.
And here's the thing, if you're waiting to hear every word clearly pronounced, you're gonna miss half the conversation. Native speakers expect this blending to happen. It's actually weird if you don't do it.
Exactly. So let's practice this. Instead of "what do you want to do," try "what do you want to do?" Feel how your mouth doesn't have to work as hard. It's more relaxed.
Ooh, and here's another one that happens all the time. I'm going to becomes I'm gonna. Want to becomes wanna. Have to becomes have to. These aren't mistakes, they're features of natural English.
I love that. Features, not mistakes, because that's exactly what they are. When you use these contractions, you sound more like you belong in the conversation. You sound more friendly, actually.
Yes, and speaking of friendly, there's another thing native speakers do that makes them sound smooth. We use what I call filler sounds. You know, like, well, like...
Oh, this is so important. A lot of English learners think these sounds are bad, but they're actually super useful. They give you time to think, and they make your speech sound more natural. Like, if someone asks me, "What's your favorite food?" I might say, well, I really like, Italian food, I guess.
Right. And notice how I just said "I guess" at the end there? That's another smoothness trick. We often soften our statements. Instead of "I like Italian food," which sounds very definite and maybe a bit formal, we say, "I like Italian food, I guess," or "I really like Italian food, you know?"
It's like we're having a conversation, not giving a presentation. These little words, "I guess," kind of, sort of, they make everything sound more casual and natural.
Let's try this out. Imagine someone asks you, "What did you do last weekend?" Don't answer like, "I went to the park and played soccer with my friends." Instead, try, well, I went to the park and, played soccer with my friends. It was pretty fun, I guess.
See the difference? The second one sounds like a real person talking. The first one sounds like you're reading from a script.
Both are correct English, but one flows better.
And here's something really cool. When native speakers use these filler words, they also change their rhythm. English has this bouncy, musical quality. We stress some words more than others, and we speed up and slow down.
Yes, this is huge. I went to the park and played soccer with my friends, I'm hitting those capital words a bit stronger. The other words are quicker and lighter. It's like English has a beat to it.
It's like rap music, but slower. You have your stressed beats and your unstressed beats. Da-da-da, da-da-da. Once you start hearing this rhythm, you can't unhear it.
And the beautiful thing is, when you start using this rhythm, even if your grammar isn't perfect, you'll sound more natural. People will understand you better because you're speaking in the pattern their brains expect.
Exactly. So let's practice this rhythm thing. Take a simple sentence like, I have to go to work tomorrow. Now, which words are the most important? I have to go to work tomorrow. The important words get the stress.
And the little words like to, they're quick and light. They're like musical notes that connect the important beats. This is why native speakers sound smooth. We're not giving equal weight to every word.
You know what's funny? When I was learning Spanish, I had the same problem in reverse. I was stressing every single word equally. And my Spanish teacher was like, you sound like you're announcing train stations.
That's perfect. That's exactly what it sounds like. So remember, not every word deserves the spotlight. Some words are the stars of the sentence and others are just supporting actors.
And here's a practical tip. When you're practicing English, try reading out loud, but exaggerate the rhythm. Make it bouncy, almost like you're talking to a child. I love this song. It's so catchy. Once you get comfortable with that exaggerated rhythm, you can tone it down to normal lulls.
That's brilliant advice. And you know what else helps with smoothness? We use a lot of what I call everyday phrases, little chunks of language that we use over and over again. Like instead of saying, I think that's a good idea, we might say, that sounds good to me, or I'm down for that.
Oh, I'm down for that is such a good example. It's way more natural than, I agree with your suggestion. These phrase chunks make your English sound more authentic because that's actually how we talk.
And the cool thing is, once you learn these chunks, you don't have to think about grammar as much. That sounds good to me is just one unit. You don't have to construct it word by word. You just use the whole phrase.
It's like having pre-made building blocks for your English. Instead of building every sentence from scratch, you can use these ready-made pieces and connect them together smoothly.
Speaking of connecting things smoothly, there's this thing that native speakers do that I think is one of the biggest game changers for sounding natural. We overlap our speech. Like, we don't wait for the other person to completely finish before we start talking.
Oh my gosh, yes, this is so important. In many cultures, interrupting is rude, but in English conversation, especially casual conversation, a little bit of overlap is actually expected. It shows you're engaged and listening.
Right, it's not interrupting in a rude way. It's more like collaborative speaking. Like, if you're telling me a story about your weekend, I might jump in with, oh really, or no way, while you're still talking. It keeps the conversation alive.
And here's the key. It's usually just short reactions. Yeah, exactly. That's crazy. I know, right? These little responses show that you're following along and you care about what the person is saying.
I remember when I first learned about this, it changed everything for me. Before, I would wait for complete silence before I spoke, and conversations felt so stiff, like we were playing tennis instead of having a chat.
That's such a perfect metaphor. Tennis versus what would natural conversation be? Like a jazz jam session. Everyone's playing together, building on each other's ideas.
I love that. And you know what else makes speech sound smooth? We use a lot of what I call conversation glue, words that connect our ideas but don't really add new information. Words like so, well, anyway, actually, basically. These are such good examples. Like, I might say, so I was at the store and, well, this funny thing happened. Basically, this guy was trying to buy like 50 cans of soup. And I was thinking, what's he gonna do with all that soup?
Perfect. See how those connecting words? So, well, basically, like, They don't change the meaning of your story, but they make it sound so much more natural. They give your brain time to organize your thoughts.
And they also signal to the listener what kind of information is coming next. When I say basically, you know I'm about to simplify or summarize something. When I say anyway, you know I'm changing topics or wrapping up.
This is actually a superpower for English learners. If you're in a conversation and you need a moment to think, you can say, well, let me think, or so here's the thing, and buy yourself some time while sounding completely natural.
Exactly. It's like social camouflage. You're giving yourself processing time, but to everyone else, you just sound like a fluent speaker who's being thoughtful.
And speaking of sounding fluent, let's talk about one of my favorite smoothness tricks, the way native speakers handle mistakes. We don't stop and correct ourselves formally, we just keep going and fix it on the fly.
Oh, this is huge. Like, if I start to say, I went to the store yesterday, 2 days ago, I don't stop the whole conversation to apologize for my mistake. I just quickly correct it and continue.
Right, and we use these little correction phrases that are so smooth. Or rather, well, actually, what I meant was, they're like linguistic band-aids. They fix the problem without making a big deal about it.
And here's something really cool. Sometimes we don't even correct ourselves completely. We just kind of redirect. Like, I was talking to my friend, well, my coworker really, and she said, the correction happens, but it's gentle.
This is so liberating for English learners to understand. You don't have to be perfect. Native speakers make mistakes and self-correct all the time. The goal isn't perfection, it's communication.
Absolutely. And you know what else helps with that smooth, natural sound? We use a lot of vague language. Instead of being super specific about everything, we use words like stuff, things, something, whatever.
Yes, like instead of saying, I need to purchase groceries, specifically vegetables, fruits, and dairy products, we say, I need to get some groceries and stuff. It's more relaxed and natural.
And stuff is such a useful word. I have to do some stuff at work. There's stuff in my car. We talked about stuff. It's like a Swiss Army knife for English conversation.
A Swiss Army knife, I love it. And things works the same way. How are things? I need to take care of some things. Things are going well. It's beautifully vague.
And here's why this vague language is actually genius. It keeps the conversation moving. If I had to be super specific about everything, conversations would take forever. Sometimes the exact details don't matter.
Exactly. And it also makes you sound more like you're having a casual chat rather than giving a formal report. I did some things, saw some people, ate some food. Sounds way more natural than listing every single detail.
Now, let's talk about something that might surprise you. Native speakers actually use quite a bit of repetition to sound smooth. We repeat words, phrases, and ideas, but in a way that feels natural and emphasizes our point.
Oh, this is such a good point. Like, if I'm excited about something, I might say, it was amazing. Just amazing. Really, really amazing. The repetition shows my enthusiasm.
And we repeat for emphasis too. That movie was good. Really good. Or, I'm tired. So tired. It's not because we can't think of other words. It's because repetition creates emotional impact.
And sometimes we repeat to make sure we're understood. The meeting is at 3. 3 o'clock. This afternoon at 3. It's like we're making sure the important information sticks.
This is actually really helpful for English learners because it means you don't always need to find a perfect synonym. Sometimes saying the same word again is exactly what a native speaker would do.
And it gives you confidence, too. If you can't think of another way to say something, just say it again with different emphasis. That's interesting. That's really interesting. Boom, you sound natural and engaged.
You know what else creates that smooth, natural flow? We use a lot of what I call softening language. Instead of making direct statements, we often soften them to sound more friendly and less aggressive.
This is so true. Like, instead of saying, "You're wrong," we might say, "I'm not sure about that," or "That's not quite right," or "I see it differently." It's the same message, but it feels much more conversational.
And we soften our opinions too. I think maybe, it seems like, I guess, perhaps. These little words make our statements sound less like announcements and more like contributions to a discussion.
It's like we're inviting the other person to respond rather than just declaring facts. I think the movie was pretty good. Leaves room for the other person to agree or disagree. The movie was good sounds more final and formal.
And this brings us to something really important about smooth English. It's not just about how you say individual words, it's about how you participate in the whole conversation. Native speakers are constantly doing little things to keep the conversation flowing.
Yes, like we ask follow-up questions even when we're in the middle of telling our own story. So I went to this restaurant. Have you ever been to that place downtown? No? Well, anyway, I ordered this pasta. We're always checking in with the other person.
And we use what I call conversation bridges, little phrases that connect what someone else said to what we want to say. That reminds me of, speaking of that, that's like when these help the conversation feel connected instead of just people taking turns talking.
I love that reminds me of because it's so natural. Like if you're talking about your vacation, I might say, that reminds me of this trip I took last year. It shows I'm listening and relating to what you're saying.
And here's something that might surprise English learners. Native speakers actually leave a lot of sentences unfinished. We start to say something, then we trail off because we realize the other person already understands, or we change direction mid-sentence.
Oh my gosh, this is so true. Like, I was going to go to the movies, but then I realized, you know what? Never mind. It doesn't matter. Or the thing about that restaurant is, and then we just stop because we see the other person nodding.
It's like we're having a conversation with someone's brain, not just their ears. We can sense that when they get it, so we don't always need to finish every single thought completely.
This is actually really freeing for English learners. You don't have to finish every sentence perfectly. Sometimes, you know what I mean, or, but anyway, is the perfect way to end a thought and move on.
Exactly. And speaking of moving on, let's talk about one of the most important smoothness techniques. We use your voice like a musical instrument. Native speakers don't just speak at one level, we go up and down. We get louder and softer.
This is huge. When I'm excited, my voice goes up. When I'm being serious, it goes down. When I'm asking a question, it often goes up at the end. When I'm making a statement, it usually goes down. It's like vocal choreography.
And we use pauses dramatically too. I went to the store and you'll never guess what happened. That pause builds suspense. Or the movie was okay, I guess. The pause shows I'm being thoughtful about my opinion.
Yes, and volume changes too. Sometimes we get quieter to make people lean in and listen more carefully. So then she whispered to me. Or we get louder for emphasis. It was amazing!
This vocal variety is what makes English sound musical and smooth. If you speak at the same level all the time, you sound flat, like a robot. But if you let your voice dance around a bit, you sound alive and engaging.
And here's a practical tip. When you're practicing English, try reading children's books out loud. I know it sounds weird, but children's books are designed to be read expressively. You'll naturally start using more vocal variety.
That's brilliant advice. Children's books force you to be dramatic and expressive. The big, scary monster came stomping through the forest. You can't read that in a monotone voice.
And once you get comfortable being expressive with simple stories, you can bring that same energy to regular conversations. It's like vocal confidence training.
Now, let's talk about something that's really gonna help you sound smooth. Native speakers use a lot of what I call assumption language. We assume the other person shares our knowledge or experience.
Oh, this is such a good point. Like, instead of saying, there's a coffee shop called Starbucks, which is a popular chain, We just say, I went to Starbucks. We assume you know what Starbucks is.
Right, and we do this with cultural references too. It's like that scene from Friends where, or you know how people always say, we assume shared knowledge, and it makes the conversation flow faster and more intimate.
And if someone doesn't know what we're talking about, they'll ask, but most of the time, this assumption language makes us sound more natural and less like we're explaining everything to a textbook.
It's like we're speaking to insiders, not outsiders. And the cool thing is, when you start using assumption language, you'll feel more like an insider too. You'll feel more confident and natural.
And here's something that really helps with overall smoothness. Native speakers are constantly making small predictions about what the other person is going to say, and we respond to those predictions.
Yes, like if someone starts with, I was thinking about going to, I might immediately jump in with, oh, you should, before they even finish. I'm predicting they're asking for my opinion.
Or if someone says, I don't know if I can, I might say, come on, you can do it. I'm predicting they're expressing doubt about their ability to do something.
This prediction game is what makes conversations feel fast and smooth. We're not just waiting for complete information, we're actively participating in building the conversation together.
And you know what's beautiful about this? Even if you predict wrong, it's still natural. Like, if I think you're asking for encouragement, but you're actually asking for practical advice, we'll just adjust. Oh, you want to know how to do it? Okay, well.
That's such a good point. Conversations are flexible and forgiving. They're not scripts that have to be followed perfectly. They're more like improvisational dance. You adjust as you go.
And this brings us to maybe the most important thing about sounding smooth. You have to be willing to make mistakes and keep going. Native speakers aren't smooth because they're perfect. They're smooth because they're confident and they keep the conversation moving.
Absolutely. I think a lot of English learners get stuck trying to be perfect, but perfection actually makes you sound less natural, not more natural. Natural speech is messy and imperfect and alive.
Right. We stumble, we correct ourselves, we change topics mid-sentence, we use the wrong words sometimes, but we do it all with confidence and we keep going. That's what makes it smooth.
So if you're listening to this and thinking, I want to sound more natural, the best thing you can do is start practicing these techniques with confidence. Use connected speech, use filler words, play with your rhythm and your voice.
And don't be afraid to make mistakes. Every mistake is actually data. It's information about how English works. Native speakers learned by making millions of mistakes and adjusting. You can too.
You know what? I want to give our listeners a challenge. This week, try to have one conversation where you focus on just one of these techniques. Maybe it's using more filler words, or playing with your rhythm, or using softening language.
I love that. Pick one thing and really focus on it. Don't try to do everything at once. Just choose one smoothness technique and practice it until it feels natural. Then add another one.
And here's the thing, the more you practice these techniques, the more you'll start to notice them in other people's speech. You'll start hearing the music in English, the rhythm, the flow. It's like learning to see the matrix of English conversation.
The matrix of English conversation. I love that. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. And that's when your English really starts to transform from words into music.
And remember, everyone who speaks English fluently had to learn these patterns at some point. Native speakers learn them as children, but you can learn them as an adult. It just takes practice and patience with yourself.
Exactly. And the best part is, once you start sounding smoother, conversations become more fun. People respond to you differently. They feel more connected to you. It's like you're speaking their language, not just English, but the language of natural conversation.
So keep practicing, keep experimenting, and most importantly, keep talking. The more you use English in real conversations, the more natural these smoothness techniques will become. You've got this.
We really believe in you. And hey, if you found this episode helpful, let us know in the comments. Tell us which smoothness technique you're going to try first. We love hearing from you.
And if you want more episodes like this, make sure to subscribe to English Podcast Adventures. We're here every week with new tips, tricks, and conversations to help you feel more confident with your English.
Thanks for hanging out with us today. Remember, English is supposed to be fun, not stressful. So relax, practice these techniques, and enjoy the journey of becoming a smoother, more natural English speaker.
Until next time, keep practicing, keep learning, and keep being awesome. We'll see you in the next episode. Bye, everyone.
Thanks for learning with us. Come back for your next English adventure.